hour. Thanks for joining me. I see a bunch of you guys are starting to hop on. And today I'm going to show you guys some of the, to me, a lot of times one of the things that I get super excited about, the really geeky, super advanced things. And in the process of doing the super geeky, super advanced things, I sometimes forget that it is the basics that make all of it work. So thanks for hopping on. Make sure you hit mute if you're if you're not talking. But if you have a question, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions today, I really hope you participate, because I'm going to go back to the start of how important it really is. It's so important to do the basics when you're doing this. So make sure you're muted. Let's see, I've got someone there. Just make sure you've got yourself muted, and got someone talking there. I'll hit mute there. Great. So good to have you guys, and make sure that you unmute yourself if you got a question, because I'm going to ask you guys some things along the way. So once again, just mute yourself if unless you've got something to say on there. I'll hit mute there. I hear a couple different things. All right. Well, so one of the things that I did, I have this new prompt that I sent out in the newsletter. And the newsletter is basically me talking to old Jeff. And my kids would tell you right now, I'm already old Jeff, but I think I still got plenty of good years left in me. But it was fun to be able to go through this, Did any of you try? Love to hear it from you. Did any of you try this prompt? Because I'm going to use it to, not only do I encourage you to give it a try, but I'm going to use it to teach you how to really start to become a prompt engineer. Because if you can be a prompt engineer, not only can you add all kinds of new features to your Bimoto templates, to bring on new clients, simplify your life, but it also can be really fun, like me talking to my 80-year-old self. Did anybody give this a try? Put it in the notes, put it in the comments. Love to hear if anybody tried this out, because I'm gonna show you some of the conversations I had with my 80-year-old self as I tested it. But love to hear if any of you guys gave it a try, and if not, I'm going to show you where to use it within Bimoto to get some results with it. So this is where you can chat, tell me if you got it or not, or if you gave it a try, or you were just so excited for me to put it inside of Bimoto that you were going to try it after today. So go ahead, let's hear it. Let's hear the chat. Anything. Feel like the teacher on Ferris Bueller. Bueller. All right.
I haven't tried it yet, but looking forward to.
All right. Thank you. All right. So what inside of Bimoto, you can find this right now just by going into templates. Okay. And I'm going to give you this prompt right here. Let's log in first. So let's get out of this. So if you go into it and you just type in talk to. Oh my goodness, I better do that all the way across town. See, Thomas, I knew I could make you guys talk just by showing you what I was doing without having it on the screen, right? All right, let me make sure you guys got that. All right. You should have it now, right? All right. Perfect. So just type in the templates. The best way, of course, you find templates. This is what you see when you log in. Click templates. If you type in talk to your 80-year-old self, it's right there. Okay. So I'm going to show you when I edit it. Anytime you make a prompt and make a template, you will have access as the administrator on here. So here is that prompt, but I'm going to put it right here so you can see it. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas on why this is fun. One, it's fun to have it walk you through a process of asking you about yourself. Okay. And the only information that it's asking you is your first name, your birth date, and the name of some famous mentors. Okay. So this is the admin section of it. When you use it yourself, all you got to do is click the arrow right here, and you can go into any one of the chats that you've made. So all you've got to do is put in your first name, your birth date. And the reason the birth date is, like it or not, somebody born in 1965 is going to have a much different financial idea of things and experiences than somebody that was born in 1995. So if you don't want to put your birth date in there, just say none of your business. If you got some famous mentors that you would like to have help you, give you some advice, put those mentors. That can be anybody from Jesus to Galileo to modern people like Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett or Tony Robbins. And I'll show you just some of the answers that it gave me as I went through this, because it's going to ask you step by step 10 different questions to help you understand how you feel about money. And so my 80-year-old billionaire self was giving me advice, and I tested enough different times. And it varied because I varied the different answers and the various mentors that it gave me. But it was really fun as it asked me through these questions and just kind of walked me through this process. So I tested it multiple times. And the first time that I did it, I actually really liked some of the right here. I love the advice that it gave me. And one of the things that I've always done to make my businesses succeed is I would go through daily affirmations. And there's some people that make fun of daily affirmations. I love them. I'm a big believer in them. And it pulled out from me some of the things that I was not doing, because all of us as business owners, we have some ups and downs. I mean, you guys tell me, is everything completely smooth in your business all the time? And I see some heads shaking no on the video here, but we have massive times of ups and massive times of down, right? And so these affirmations, it was really fun as it went through it. And then of course, as it went through and gave me some feedback on just the different things that I needed to do. But it was a fun process to go through. So I just encourage you to go through it. But I want to use this as a base level to be able to help you start to write better prompts. Okay. So if you want to try this, just inside of Bimoto, just type under the templates, under all, just type in talk to your 80-year-old self, and it'll walk you through that. Okay. But I also want to do this to be able to show you some of the features and why this works so well. So just for some of you less than some of you who are not novices, what are some of the most important things that you need to do to create prompts that work? What are some of the components of prompts that work? Any ideas? Unmute yourself, tell me what you think, and put it in the notes. What do you have to do to have prompts that work?
Start with it. You might not put it first in the prompt, but always start with keeping in mind your end goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you definitely need to be able to. I'm gonna sometimes at law school, uh, the professor would ask a million questions before I was just like, just come on, tell me the stupid answer. I've trained an avatar, and you're absolutely right, Thomas. You need to know where you're going with it. These are components of a good prompt. Okay, so you need to have an instruction. So a specific task. This is where you are talking, Thomas, of where you want to go. A specific task or directive that the model is expected to perform. So many times you tell it who it is. You are an analyst tasked with evaluating the provided text. So it's the same thing too with us. We oftentimes have to tell ourselves who we are. You know, those, as I told you, it was a really fun experience for me to go through this, because I've always been a daily affirmation guy. And what's a daily affirmation? It's telling me who I am. It's reminding me who I am. AI, you have to think about it as a very obedient servant, a very obedient employee. But you have to tell that employee if he or she is there to do sales, if he or she is there to do marketing, to do accounting. So the same thing with AI, you tell it who it is. Exactly. The next thing that you need to do is provide it context. So with this one right here, um, I didn't necessarily have to tell it exactly who it is. Some of these are optional and some of them are not. I started off just saying my name is this and my birthday is this. I'm eager to explore my connection with finances and the illusions surrounding money and success that have shaped my lives or shaped my beliefs. That is what you would call a context. So it includes additional information to help get an accurate response. I'm telling it what it's supposed to do. Okay. From there, input specific data. I love writing these type of prompts if you don't know how to write really great prompts. And I'm going to give you an example here. I'm going to open up Bimoto here, and I'm going to show you some of my prompts are not simple. So let's go into, oh gosh, toolkit. Toolkit is a prompt that's inside of all of yours, but it will evaluate your prompts and tell you how to classify it. This is a long prompt. It's quite long. And so if you don't want to or feel good about writing really long, sophisticated prompts, then use this process right here. See right here, ask questions one by one. And it's really important that you write some of these things in here. If you don't want to put a whole bunch of information to explain what it's doing, then you can have it ask you questions and it will gather information for you. And the way that you do this, one, I told it was going to do a series of 10 probing questions to unravel my financial mindset. Another way I could have done that is to write 10 different questions. But why do you think I don't have it write 10 specific questions up front? Why do you think I'm telling it to have, I'm giving it some flexibility here. Why would I tell it to, why would I not create a concrete list of questions?
I know why I would do that.
Let's hear it.
Well, for one thing, I want it to give me a starting place, and also I want to challenge a little bit my own preconceived notions. So it's going to maybe draw from a wider data set than I just have in my head.
100%. So you want this to go wider. You want to give it freedom to not be locked into things. So if you're doing this just for you, you could have it locked in some more. But the reality of it is we are changing, ever-growing beings, and we have different needs. So rather than lock it in, I like to do a lot of different prompts by giving it one, you're going to ask me 10 questions. By asking me 10 questions, pretty soon it's going to have a lot of information about me. Okay. And I typically just dictate my answers to it. And I do stream of consciousness and I just throw information at it. Okay. And then if I don't tell it exactly what the next question is right here by saying, ask questions one by one, waiting for my response before asking the next. So every question for every single person is going to be completely different. And it's even going to be different for me based upon how I answer that particular day. So it asked me different questions every time based upon how I was answering them. So if you don't lock it in, one, it's going to have more freedom to do that. And it's going to give you a much more customized feel. So let's go to the next component on there. Output indicator. So if you look at a lot of the ones that I create, so let's go into one that I use every single day. So let's go into type LinkedIn marketing. I'm actually showing you guys the steps behind some of these, and I'm going to show you the LinkedIn articles headline creator. I use this almost every day when I'm writing articles. So if you look in here, I give it right here. Today, you're a world-class copywriter specializing in creating attention-grabbing direct response headlines. The beautiful part about Bimoto is you guys you don't have to be a professional prompt engineer. But this right here is what? Anybody based upon what I've shown you already? What is that? It's an instruction. I'm telling it who it is. I'm saying you're a an expert in direct sales responses. Then I give it instructions or context and data to help it make its mind. I then have a very structured on how I want it to output it. And then right here, I give it output instructions, 20 headlines. Each headline should be on its own bold line. So I'm giving it exactly how I want it to output. So the more specific you are, the more specific the output will be. And when I write articles, which I write a lot of articles with this trained on my Jeffery AI, I have it very specific how it should be doing it, how it should do a hook, how it should do the body, how it should do the paragraphs, because LinkedIn is very specific on what is successful and what's not. And this one gives me a very specific example of what it should look like. And I give it examples of how it should output it. So the beautiful part about Bimoto is you don't need to be a super prompt engineer because we've done a lot of it for you. But I'm really encouraging you to start to learn how to do some of these basics. If you use this type of approach right here, which is let it gather information from you step by step, and upon completing the 10th, I invite you to embody the perspective of my billionaire self, to evaluate my responses enriched by the teachings of, and then I allowed it to put in different famous people. And when you make a template within Bimoto, every time you put something within brackets right here, it allows the person to fill that out. So as an example right here, you don't have to see the entire outline behind it, because inside the prompt, target market is in brackets, company name is in brackets. It enables you to fill those out step by step by step.
Talk to your future self.
So anyways, so as I go through this, of course, then I have it, I give it some patterns right here on the things that I want it to, I want it to give me. I'm giving a little bit of guidance right here. For example, I welcome tough love. I want it to beat me up if I'm answering the wrong way. I want it to be from my 80-year-old self that is a billionaire now, so it can give me some ideas. But I encourage you to try this one out, and encourage you to start to try some of these different things. But these are basically the components of the framework of creating your own prompts. You need to make sure you tell it who it is. You want to give it an instruction on, explain the risks and benefits of investing in stocks. You want to give it some context, which is recent markets show increased volatility. So, in something like that, you can give it the context of you've had a lot of experience in this situation or that situation, so I want you to act as the expert. You then allow, if you want it to ask you questions, or you leave options for variables. Then output, you tell it how you want it to output it. If you want it to have bolded headlines, tell it to have bolded headlines. If you want it to have bullet points, tell it that you like to have bullet points. But you give some of these different instructions, and it will then help you create very useful templates in the process. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, it's okay. We can always go through them. But these are very, very helpful ways to do it. And once you create a great prompt, if you put it in Bimoto, that prompt, for example, right here, if I'm very happy with that prompt, I can just give it some instruction right here and say, I like this prompt. Now turn it into something that will help me give advice to myself about fitness. So once you've got a winning formula, you can have it analyze anything that you do and have it help you make additional prompts that you can put into the system. Does that make sense? So right here, it's automatically rewriting this for me, and it's all about fitness and anything else that I want. So once you become skilled at writing prompts, you can just tell it to take it, adapt it, and turn it into anything else that you want. And when you put this into Bimoto, I'll just take one of these really quickly. I'll take this. I'll go into templates. If you want to make your own templates, you just hit that add button. And right here in the context area, you can see that it automatically grabbed those variables and turned them into variables here. So you just have to put a note, add my first name. You have to put an explanation. You can make it so it's a number variable or a multiple choice. Add your birthday and people who can mentor you physically. So
Jeff,
that, yeah,
sorry, could I interject something here?
you bet.
Because I mean, anybody who's been here and watched all of these things, like I have, it can be really intimidating to watch how sophisticated your processes have become. I'm what I found that works for me or that helps me get better at this is starting simple and then just reiterating. And as I see how I do one thing and it impacts the end result, then I have a little bigger window to look through on how to change the prompt so that it becomes more of what I want.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that. And that's why with this one, using things like this, Thomas, when you create prompts, you can get away from a lot of the sophisticated things that I put in there. And it's automatically getting better at doing the outputs. All the AI models are. But when you put something like this, it allows you the AI to walk you through step by step just about anything that you need to create. And the reason why I encourage you to learn how to put things into a template, uh, I've even created a template to help you fill out the template. It's called toolkit. So if you look in this, it'll actually name all of these things for you. So if you put in all right here and you type in toolkit, this AI prompt engineer toolkit, pick a place that you want to send it. If I add this template right into it, whoops, right here, it will give me a suggested name. It will give me a suggested description. It will give me suggested tags, and it will give me a suggested type of content. So it'll actually fill it out for you, and you can make the changes as you wish. I think that everybody should start simple. This to me is a really simple but fun prompt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so inside of here that it actually reveals the prompt for you. A lot of them are hidden. I'll do this really quickly for you. That way, if you want to try it, I'm going to make it so it's not only public, but it will show you the prompt. So you can actually, you don't need to copy it from my screen. Every time you use it, it will show you what the prompt is, and you can copy it from there. What I mean by that is if I go right here, come into this and type in Jeff 11272 famous mentors. Let's put let's put Napoleon Hill. By doing this, it's actually going to, as soon as it starts to run, I needed to hit refresh on this screen. It will for you now. It will show you that prompt right here because I've made it so it's public. So by doing this, you guys can copy this one, or you can grab it from my screen right here, but it's going to show you this prompt. Play around with it, exactly what Thomas was suggesting. And a lot of my employees are they always see the end result. And I've done some advanced prompt engineering with some of my employees, and they always are surprised at how many times it takes of me testing a prompt before it starts to obey the way I want it to. So it's an ongoing process, and that's of course why we try to make it so simple and give you so many different powerful templates on here. But it took me about an hour to get this one right, and about 5 different tests. So I'm constantly testing them. And if it misbehaves once, that's fine. But if it misbehaves twice, then I know that I wrote it improperly. And until I gave it this right here, ask the questions one by one, waiting for my response before asking the next. By not having that in there, it gave me 10 questions all in the same one. So it didn't give me any ability for it to learn as I went along. So these are just some of the basic secrets. And the best thing I can tell all of you is try it, play around with it, have fun with this one, talking to your 80-year-old billion-dollar self, and learn from this. And within the group, send out your questions, give something a try. If it doesn't obey, put in your result, and I can help give you some advice if you put it inside the mastermind group. All right. Any questions that you guys have in all of your activities throughout the weeks, anything that you need from me today that can come in from the group. If not, you can send it within the mastermind, and I'm happy to answer. All right. Well, happy summer to everybody. Thanks for hopping on, and make sure that you send on any questions that you have before the Wednesday call. Make sure you're watching the video. I'll just do a plug for my YouTube channel right here. I am constantly, every time, let's see, you can. So if you go to youtube.com/Jeffery Boyle, right inside of here, you'll see I'm live right now. Right there, I'm live. But every week you'll see I put in new videos, new trainings. This is the one from this week that I put in yesterday, and all of the past videos, the past lives, are all just right here. So any of the different trainings that we've done are on here. Hit subscribe, like them, and make sure that you're staying up to date. Thank you so much for being on. Any questions, send them on, and I'm happy to help you go through some of your stuff. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.